This is Grapplers Talk.
What is up, fans of Grapplers Talk? This is Dave coming at you with another episode each and every week. Thank you to the fans for downloading and tuning into the podcast. We truly appreciate all of our love and support from the fans out there. It means the world to us to have such a great group supporting us and such a great fan base out there. Without you guys, this thing would not be possible. And I appreciate y'all so much for continuing to download Grapplers Talk, continuing to support us in our journey. And, I just got to say a huge shout out to our sponsors of the podcast. Butterfly X is doing huge things. You can see I'm sporting the hoodie right now. And man, they make high quality gear. And if you're in the market for rash guards, no-gi kits, even gi stuff, man, they got it there. Butterfly X, BFX Gear on Instagram. They're really doing big things out in Texas, and I appreciate the guys over at BFX. And just go out there, support them. Use our promo code Grapplers Talk 10. You'll get 10% off any of your orders over there. Also, to my academy owners out there, if you guys are looking to find a manufacturer of rash guards or belts or anything like that for your gym and you don't know who to go to, you don't want to message all these people on WhatsApp and all those weird Instagram messages you get, hit up Butterfly X. They will get your academy set up with the best rash guards. I use them for my own academy, and our rash guards are awesome. People love them, high quality. And they're not going to fall apart. They're not going to be real thin. They're thick, nice, high quality rash guards. So hit up my boys at Butterfly X. Also, they do custom gear for tournaments and matches and things like that. So get a hold of them. Tell them Dave sent you from Grapplers Talk and you get taken care of. Also, hit up my friends over at Spar Bar Soap, providing the best antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial training soap. We appreciate them and all the support they do for the podcast. Go to their website, go like them on Instagram, follow them on Instagram. If you go to their website, use code word Grapplers Talk, you'll get 10% off of your order. Again, all natural, made here in the United States. You don't have to pay high dollar prices for low quality soap. So hit them up, Spar Bar Soap, and go give them some support. They're a great couple. And doing big things in the jiu-jitsu community. With all that being said, I'm thrilled to introduce onto the podcast somebody I met a few weeks back. I was out of state for work, and I just stopped by the gym and got to meet this gentleman. And man, he was so welcoming and such a good, welcoming person. And I got to chat with him, and he showed me around the facility. And I just wanted to get him on and introduce him to the fans, but I'm thrilled to have on none other than Justin Andrews this week. How you doing, brother? Welcome to Grapplers Talk.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, it's an honor. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And first, I tell everyone this, and we got to chat for a little bit, but I want the long form part. How did you get started in jiu-jitsu? What was the introduction like? What were the first couple classes like when you started training?
Sure. Oh man, the long and the short, I guess. I was first introduced to, I guess, jiu-jitsu, old school UFC. I didn't really get into it until the Marine Corps. Then it was McMap at the time. I got choked out by one of my drill instructors. Again, didn't really get into it too much until afterwards. I saw this kid Rogers choke out Sergeant Mayhem. Right? What a name.
Back then, those names, you had to have a name like that, right?
Yeah, right. So he started off, he said, "Hey, I'm better off my back." I was thinking, like, what? This kid is like laying on his back on purpose. He actually trained out of the Lions Den, which is pretty cool. Like, it was a big name. I recognized it from back in the day. And he started off his back, threw him in a triangle right off the bat, and choked him out. After that, I was kind of like, oh, there's something about this. I kind of put in the back of my mind that, hey, this might be an interest, stick with it. And after my I kind of got into it around my first deployment. After my second deployment, or during my second deployment, Myself and my buddy Hector Vargas, like all we did during our downtime was watch Pride fighting and UFC. Like
Oh
that's it.
yeah.
We went out like on patrol, and like after any sort of engagement, we come back and like that's it, man. Like you could count on Andrews and Vargas watching UFC or Pride. So we promised each other, hey, we make it back in one piece, we'll start fighting, and that's what we did. And I've been at it ever since. So that was 20. Oh, that was 2006. So I've been at it for almost 20 years now.
Yeah. And I started at a similar time and thinking about it, that was it was a different time era. But you mentioned the Lions Den, which is crazy because we're in Stockton, and I mean, I always tell people Stockton has such a rich fighting history. It's been a boxing town for years, and a lot of boxers came up from this area. But the Lions Den, the original Lions Den, is out in Lockford and is about a 15-minute drive away. And so a lot of people will look at like Stockton and the first thing they think of is the Diaz brothers. But the history of this area before the Diaz brothers were around, Ken Shamrock was in a little town called Lockford. And it's about 15, 20 minutes outside of Stockton, and people knew about it. People locally were driving there and they found out about the UFC and they wanted to get into it as soon as possible. So like, I mean, those early days were pretty wild, and some of the opportunities to train with some legends, or it was a different time frame.
For sure.
So, getting out of the military, making that promise that you guys are going to get into fighting, how was it getting into a gym and trying to find those first couple fights? What was it like?
Oh yeah. So my introduction to like gi jiu-jitsu, dude, I got my ass whipped. Like, I'm sorry for that.
No, no, you're fine.
So, yeah, I was 245 pounds, jacked, right? All we did is like lift. So, outside of watching UFC and Pride, like we would just lift. So I was jacked. I got like just straight folded up by this dude that was 135 pounds. And then after that, I was hooked, right?
Yeah.
So like no turning back. And then I just sort of, worked my way up. I think I was in gi for about 2 months before I just transitioned into straight MMA. And I did probably straight MMA for, I'd say, 3.5 years, where, it was just every day, bro, it was a scrap. Like we were fighting. And it was
Yeah.
just tough on the body, like
Yeah.
we didn't know any better at the time. We just trained hard.
Right. Everyone was kind of looking for the recipe. No one had the recipe down on what it took to be a UFC champion. Everyone kind of did their own things. We had the specialists, you had the guys like Chuck Liddell going on a run that were just straight strikers and wrestlers, and everyone kind of had their own different style. Matt Hughes had a different style. You had your Tito Ortizes and guys like that coming up. So no one really had the perfect blueprint back then. Those amazing coaching teams were still putting it together back then. So it was a lot of just trial and error and grit and toughness in there that kept you going, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd end up with chipped teeth and broken fingers, the whole kit and caboodle, broken ribs, blown out
Yeah.
knees, twisted elbows, all that stuff, man.
Yeah, it's funny. I hear that story though that you mentioned. You talked about that small guy, that 135 pounder, usually it's a young kid tapping you out or something. How long was it before you were able to start catching up to where he was?
Oh shoot. I would say it took about a good 3.5 months until I started to develop a little bit more confidence.
Yeah.
I was I'm 6'4". I think I probably dropped about 20 pounds right away. So I was still muscling my way through a lot of things. Like white belt, muscle my way,
Oh
and then
yeah.
I slowly calm myself down. And then
Yeah.
I would say probably about purple belt is where I finally got the flow, but I'm not sure if I ever really caught up to that individual.
Yeah, yeah,
He was
yeah.
so far advanced, at the time. Uh, to be able to take out such a big individual with such ease was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's an always a humbling experience. I talk to so many, bigger guys, stronger guys, and that little guy in the gym just, has whatever it is that takes him out. Discipline and training, I'm guessing, but so you're into training now. You're in it to win it. You're doing gi jiu-jitsu. Now, back when I first started, obviously grappling tournaments and stuff like that wasn't as big as it is now. There weren't tournaments every weekend. There were a handful a year that you really had to search out to find. What was your experience like in the early days of grappling tournaments?
Oh, for sure. It was the same thing. Uh, so fighting and tournaments were about hand in hand. I was able to get a fight after about 6 months of training, and then it's few and far between. Same thing with tournaments. It was about once every 6 months, 8 months or so, there'd be like two huge tournaments,
Yeah,
or and we'd have to travel. So there weren't any in Grand Rapids. We'd have to travel over to Detroit, which is on the other side of the state.
right, right. With that being said, like, obviously it's hard to find matches. Were you looking for your own matches or did you have a management team or an advisor or somebody helping you find any any sort of MMA?
Yeah. So I didn't have a manager at all. It was all through like the team. At the time, we had a couple pro fighters that were coaching, and they would sort of like reach out and put feelers out. We're lucky enough to have Nate Carey. He was a pro fighter at the time. He knew James Lee, who he has a gym over in Detroit, who also fought in Pride. So he would coordinate with him and try to get us fights. But at that time, it was tough too. You'd make a name for yourself, and people were like, "Oh, I don't want to fight so and so," or they'd agree to fight, and then 2 weeks before they would drop out, which was pretty prevalent.
Yeah, I mean, in the early days, there were a lot of I remember medical situations, that would drop people out day of weigh-ins and things like that. They didn't get their medicals in time, and I mean, there were so many things, but it was like to get a fight, you really had to be linked into that community, and you had to know somebody, and maybe they could get you a couple fights, but even fights were they weren't coming around every month. You couldn't stay super active, because fights were like, at least around this area, they were once every 6 months, maybe a year, like one or two a year in the area. So it was really, really hard to find them, and you had to be linked into the community. But I want to talk about how you ended up where you're at today. I walked in on kind of surprised you on one of your nogi classes. How did you end up at the gym you're at teaching nogi over there?
Yeah, sure. Oh man, going through it all right. So
Yeah.
I I've sort of stuck with the same lineage, I would say. So I started off going to this place called GRBJJ. That's sort of where everybody went in town. There's really just one gym, Grand Rapids Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then I broke off and I went to GR MMA. So again, just pretty much the big like MMA gym here. GR MMA sort of shut down, so I transitioned back to GRBJJ. And then, man, there's like a weird falling out that myself and my buddy had. He actually runs Black Lion with the professor there. It was just a I don't know, funky situation, man, where we got promoted by the professor that ran GR MMA, and he didn't like it. So there's like some back and forth banter. And Chad was like, "Hey, man, I'm thinking about opening up my own gym. Would you like to teach with me? Like, I'll teach gi, teach no gi, and we'll go from there." I said, "Hey, let's do this." So we started doing that. I was a blue belt at the time. Um, yeah, I think I maybe I was a purple belt. I don't know, man. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Uh, and I started running a cardio conditioning class and just started teaching Nogi, just the things that I really was proficient at. And I started to sort of expand my horizons in that aspect. Chad reached out to find other professors in the area, and he ended up finding Corley Gracie down in Indiana. So that's like about an hour and a half away from us.
Okay.
So he befriended Croyler and he took us in, thankfully, and we've been there with Croyler ever since. I think we founded the Black Lion Gym back in 2012. We've had four locations. We're on the fourth location right now. I think I think we've had four locations. We've had three or four locations. We're on the fourth
Yeah.
location right now. We've expanded this location, and we have just been growing, man, ever since.
Yeah, and you guys offer a variety of different classes. I walked in and you guys had no gi going, and then you also had some striking going. What kind of classes are you guys offering? And what's your guys' main focus at the gym?
For sure, for sure. It's. I mean, we're a jiu-jitsu based gym, so we're always going to offer jiu-jitsu first and foremost. But we have kids classes, we have no gi jiu-jitsu, we have gi jiu-jitsu, we offer striking as well. It's a West Coast Muay Thai. Coach Duncan is great, man. He's super proficient in what he knows. He starts with the basics, and then we have a pro team as well, well, a competition team. A lot of amateurs right now, and then we're hoping to like get over that crest and get them into the bigger game.
Right, right. Now, are you helping out with like coaching in matches and tournaments and all of that as well?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. That's huge. Now obviously you guys have a pretty big name fighter coming out of your gym, and you've been with him in some big moments. Talk about training with Jamal Hill and what that's been like, and being with him in some of the biggest moments in his career.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been a roller coaster ride for sure. We've had right now we're on a sort of a downhill. We're hoping to turn that around, make it an uphill. But we've been at the top of the ladder, man. We've been at the bottom of the ladder. Since day one. I knew this kid was special, and it's been tough. He's always been super hard, super hard to beat at the gym. Like no matter what I do, I'll do a move on him, one day, and then it won't work on him the next day, and it's been like that. So as difficult as it is for me, as frustrating as it is for me, to I guess to do a move and that feel like I'm not growing. Like he's helping me to grow even more.
Yeah, and that's huge. And obviously having someone and a presence like that in the gym, it helps you grow and develop your game even better, right? Everything's going to be a little bit tighter from now on, right? If he's able to defend it now, we got to fix it a little bit. So, it just shows that you can improve at the same time. But what's your thought on, obviously the UFC now is in grappling and BJJ, and they have their organization. I think it's great for people that wanted to pursue that MMA dream, maybe didn't for whatever reason, still gives them an avenue to shoot for to get into the UFC. What's your take on UFC BJJ, and the organization so far? And do you see it surviving and lasting for a while?
Oh yeah, I love it. I mean, please more. Like most definitely. I'd like to see like more transitions too. Like uh, maybe some of these guys can transition into, the UFC in general. Like, maybe they can get into the octagon and vice versa. Maybe some of these guys that are in the octagon maybe want to get into like the, just straight up grappling arena. I've seen some of them go back and forth before, like, uh, I mean, look at like Sean O'Malley's had, back and forth with, grappling. There have been others too, like in the
Yeah.
past, but I'd like to see more of that personally.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's huge. Jake Shields is another one. He was very successful in MMA and also grappling competitions. Paul Harris,
Yeah, for sure, right?
the leg taker, right?
Yeah, hide your feet, bro.
Yeah, hide everything, bro. I had a young gentleman on. He's a local kid in this area. He's doing MMA. And I asked him, "Who's your favorite grappler of all time?" And he looks at me and he says, "Paul Harris." I said, "What?" I've never heard that answer. But yeah, no, it's definitely pretty interesting. But Yeah, man, it's fun. I do want to ask you a couple rapid fire questions just to kind of have some fun with this and get your take on a couple different things going on in the grappling scene, if you're okay with that.
Oh, for sure.
All right. So I this is one of my favorites, but if you had to get rid of all of your gis or all of your rash guards, which one would it be?
Uh,
You have to get rid of them all forever.
these are rash guards. Tough, man. I'm gonna go with Geese, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the common answer. I get that a lot. A lot of people are getting rid of the geese. I don't understand it.
I love my Geese, don't get me wrong, but the rash guards, like they're so intricate, you know?
Yeah, I'll say this, okay, and you've been training a while, so you know this firsthand. Okay, the only reason I would get rid of the geese is because of the laundry, right? You get
Yeah,
10 geese stacked up, or even three geese stacked up. That's a lot of laundry and hang drying and making sure nothing's getting shrunk and but rash guards, I mean, you could take a ball of rash guards and throw it in the laundry and it's not as big, right?
100%, man.
Yeah. So just for the laundry factor alone, I mean, that's a huge one right there. So I got another one for you. What do you think is a more prestigious title? ADCC World Champion or IBJJF Nogi World Champion?
Ooh, that's a toughie for me. Hmm. Man, that is tough. I think I'm gonna go ADCC, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Even with today's standard with like, people dropping out of ADCC to do other tournaments, do you still think it's holding the same prestige as it once was?
I think so. Like even with yeah, with everything going on, I think ADCC is still like it's still top, right? Even like CJI is like amazing. I hope that it still goes on, like this upcoming summer or maybe next summer too. Um, I'm hoping that we get more super fight tournaments like that, more invitationals. I mean, I just did an invitational, like the Jeff Curran Invitational. I'm hoping that takes off and gets to that level too.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, this one's going to be a fun one. Who do you think advances the sport of grappling more? CJI or UFC BJJ?
Whew. I mean, Craig's a character, man. I'm gonna go with Craig.
Yeah. Yeah, he's revolutionizing the sport. I mean, what he's doing is second to none, like entertainment value. And I mean, say what you want about this last CJI. I found it very entertaining. I mean, what was your take?
Yeah, same. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%, man.
I mean, if you know jujitsu and grappling, you know that you're not going to get a spitfire match every single time. There's going to be chess matches where you got to really understand it to break it down and enjoy it, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, this is a fun one, right? We got the King Gordon Ryan. I don't know what his status is nowadays. Okay, and he's off and he's got some personal issues and he's got Kingsway going on and establishing his coaching career. And what is your take? Okay, what's the chances of Gordon Ryan competing or our guy Craig Jones competing? Who do you think competes first?
Oh man, I think that Gordon will probably compete before Craig competes again.
Yeah. And here's another fun one, right? Now we saw something somewhat of a spectacle at CJI with Chael Sonnen and Craig Jones, and if you could call it a match, I mean, I guess you can, right? But now the funny thing about that is the year prior at CJI, what he had Gabby Garcia. Now, can you really call that one a match, right? I mean, two entertainment matches, we'll call them, right? Like, I mean, he hasn't been super active. I mean, he hasn't been the most active. So it's really hard to say with all the success he's having and travel and with all the success of CJI, it's really hard to say. I don't know who he comes back against.
Yeah, that would be the tough one, right? Because I think that it's just like Gordon, like they've scrapped against just about everybody,
Yeah.
everybody in the game. So that's the difficult part is like who wants to step up and like who's the new person that wants to step up and do. Obviously, everybody wants like a shot at the title, but like
Yeah.
who would be the fun match that they haven't gone against?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, let me ask you this one. This one's a fun one. The next ADCC, who do you think takes the absolute title?
Oh shoot. Oh man. I don't know, man. There's some killers out there right now. I maybe Kynan or Fowler.
Now, now let me ask. I got to think of how this works, right? So if King Gordon is the undisputed champion in the absolute, right? He's the one that they have to face. I mean, is Gordon going to be coming back for some big absolute matches, or what's the take on that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, wait, Marigali. I mean,
Yeah,
he could be coming back too.
it's tough though. Mirgali had a rough run against our boy Pixley, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was tough, man. Like now Pixley's gonna go in with a little bit more confidence. He's a black belt now,
yeah. So
and probably gonna be stepping up his game a little bit. I enjoyed Pixley against I what did Pixley go against Nicky Rod, was it? In UFC BJJ Invitational, I believe. Yeah, it was Nicky Rod. And it was kind of a scrappy match, and the thing about it was like they called a bunch of stalling. And I think Pixley's style, I think if he can adjust that to where it doesn't look like stalling, a little bit more active, I think that he could be really dangerous and threaten some of those top competitors out there. We saw it against Miragali, but I think he could even do more damage down the road.
yeah.
Yeah. Another fun one, obviously the UFC doing their thing, and how do you think that they're going to be able to attract some bigger athletes or some bigger names to bring more recognition to their brand?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the UFC is like it speaks for itself. A lot of time, hey, do you want to be associated with the UFC? And then, hey, here's our contract. We can offer you this on top of your contract. So as long as they keep on sweetening the deal, then I think that's all they really need to do.
Yeah. With the like media production and social media value behind the UFC, right? There's so many perks besides just being an athlete for him, right? You got
Mhm.
the Performance Institute. That's that perk alone, having the PI to be able to use. I don't know how often the BJJ athletes can use it, but I know that it's a pretty sick facility, and I've seen a lot of the guys like warming up, getting ready for their match at the PI, and getting it taken care of. But it seems pretty sick. I like it. I think that there's a lot of value behind that, and eventually it's just a matter of time before the UFC dials in your diet and all the stuff like they do for the MMA side of it, right?
Oh, it's a beautiful facility, and I know that well, I mean personally, I've been to the PI quite a bit with training with Jamal, and I've seen a lot of those athletes use the PI. They're there working out, they're doing strength conditioning, same as like any other professional fighter.
Yeah, they dial in like your supplements and stuff too, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, they're asking you what your sleep schedule's been like, and I mean, I've seen some pretty in-depth things there. It's a great facility to have. Like, I mean, I don't see how like everybody's not wanting to get in there and see what it's all about, right? It's like the ultimate gym that you can imagine.
Just that perk alone, like just they have the best PT that you could possibly want. the PT, massage therapy, all the whole kit and caboodle, cupping. Uh, that's that perk alone right there. I mean, I want that. You know?
Yeah. Now, Justin, I just want to ask you, obviously you had a match recently. I want to talk about what competition's been like recently for you, and if you have anything on the horizon, anything you're looking to achieve this upcoming year with competition.
Sure. Yeah, I recently had a match against Dan Hart out of Hart Jiu-Jitsu. It was a great match, man. Like he's a tough dude. I put like everything I could into it, and I couldn't finish him. So that was frustrating for me. It was great for him. I mean, I just have to go back and work on my finishes from those positions. From turtle. That's usually like a very very strong position for me, but for some reason I just couldn't get it done. So I'm gonna work on staying strong with cutting, like 5 pounds from 210 to 205. Keeping that energy. Um, I'm going to work on, being able to flatten and finish for very, very, tricky, strong opponents. He's a third-degree black belt. I'm picking up my first degree next month. So it's just, you know, while it might not seem like there's that much, like, oh, you're both still black belts. Like he's
That's
had
huge.
that much, yeah, that much experience, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, 3 degrees on a black belt's like what, 10 years at a black belt almost. That's a long time. It could be longer than 10 years too.
Yeah.
Depending on how far into that third degree he is. So, I mean
Uh,
that's huge, and I mean, at the black belt level, the competition changes a little bit, and it's not just like your belt for belt with the rest of the blue belts and the purple belts and the brown belts. Black belts, there's so many different levels to it, and depending on if you're a competitor or if you're focusing on teaching, and there's different aspects to the black belt, and nothing to shake your hat on. Any black belt competition is going to be tough, but it's exciting to get out there, get back on the horse, and make the adjustments that you need to make yourself successful. What's your mindset when you go into competition? How are you backstage right before a match? What's your training like, or what's your attitude like?
oh, 100%. I'm a mindset performance coach actually. So
Okay.
that's my bread and butter, man. Like I'm back there. I visualize, how I'm gonna walk out there, my presence. I'm rehearsing and visualizing. I'm resetting my body if I feel like I'm getting like overly worked up, or if I feel like my nerves aren't being productive for me. I'm internally rehearsing, calming myself down. If I'm feeling too down, I'm amping myself back up. I'm going through my normal routines that I go through with my training partner, my bro. So we usually do like a tough warm up at first, just to like get the heart rate up and like have like a hard warm up, and then we sort of gradually like work positions, and then after that it's just mind frame, keeping resilient and knowing that I'm just going out there to put everything out on the line.
Yeah. How did you get into becoming a mindset performance coach?
I a long time ago I realized that while I was lifting weights and I was doing all these, like, I was going through the motions, but I was just making myself a bigger, stronger quitter. So I wasn't working here. I was just working everything else. And I realized that in order to progress and be strong physically, I needed to be strong mentally. And I just went back to the lab and, reached inside myself and started just doing that mental work.
Yeah. Do you draw inspiration from any books or any sort of anything out there, or is there like music that you get into? Like how does it work being adjusting your mindset all the time?
Always, man. Like I get inspiration from a lot of things. There are plenty of books and podcasts that I listen to. If you really want to like, bro it out, there's plenty of things that you can do. Like Jocko and Goggins, like Cameron, uh, They're those are three big like dudes that you can like lean on if you're looking for like any sort of like inspiration.
Yeah.
As for like other sort of like personal like mental like inspiration, there's like Mel Robbins or Tony Robbins if you're looking for like aspirations and like affirmations. Uh, yeah, lots of like podcasts, mental performance, and then like as far as like music and stuff like that, like I'm a big advocate of like I love like Hippie Sabotage, like they're like huge favorites of mine. And just stuff like to expand your mind.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. How important do you think it is to have a strong mind in competition?
Oh, dude, that's 100%. Like if you have solid technique, right? You don't have to have the best technique, but if you have solid technique and if it's working, but you're the bigger dog in the fight, you're gonna persevere. Like that's the biggest thing is like don't give up on yourself. You know,
Yeah.
just like in life.
Yeah. No, that's huge. You gotta believe in yourself. You gotta have some self-confidence. We were talking about that a little bit ago. Gaining some of that confidence along the way is huge for you and your journey, and even if you're just a hobbyist, right? Getting in the gym and getting some confidence and getting a few wins. They don't always have to be submissions, but maybe they're positional wins, right?
100%.
Yeah, I see a lot of beginners, they'll get in here and, they're training for a few weeks or maybe even a few months and they're struggling with, submitting people. And I always tell them, like, don't even trip on submissions and trying to catch people like that. Look for little wins. Look for, I control them and I held them in side control. They couldn't move. Right.
There we go.
That's a win, and once you gain a little bit of confidence from that, you'll start soaring and those submissions will become available, right? But yeah, man, it's been an honor getting to chat with you a little bit and getting to know you. And when I'm out in the Grand Rapids area, I'm definitely going to be hitting you up again and trying to get some training in with you. But yeah, it's been an honor getting to talk to you about, life and jujitsu. And, I appreciate you taking the time to be on this episode of Grapplers Talk. I do always like to give our guests just a few minutes for any sort of love towards training partners, any sort of sponsors, anything like that. Any shout outs, whatever you like. But just take a couple minutes, Justin. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, again, it's been a huge pleasure. Thank you for having me on. I just like to shout out Black Line Jiu-Jitsu, man. Like without that, I don't think I'd be obviously where I'm at today. Same thing with like, Jamal, Chad Pomeroy, like Jamahal Hill, Chad Pomeroy, my family, all that stuff, man. God, yeah, hit me up if you're interested in, like mental performance, or if you're interested in perhaps, some one-on-ones, or if you just got questions like concerning positions or competition or any of that stuff at Justin Does Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, getting to meet Justin, he was such a nice gentleman, getting to walk into the gym. And I mean, he walked me around and showed me the whole facility and made me really feel at home. So if you're looking to get into jujitsu, if you don't have a home gym already, or if you're looking to cross train, hit up Justin and the guys at Black Lion and get in some rolls with them. You won't be disappointed. I guarantee it. But Justin, again, thank you for being a part of this episode. Guys, don't forget to download, subscribe to the podcast, follow us on YouTube. Our YouTube following is growing. If you want to watch video episodes of the podcast, you'll see them on YouTube. But thank you to everyone for downloading. Don't forget to check out our partners, Butterfly X and Spar Bar Soap. Use our promo codes for any discounts over there. Again, this has been another great episode of Grapplers Talk. This is Dave, and we are out.
This is Grapplers Talk.